fuck's going on there, Hop Wolves? It's your boy, Ari Lombardozzi, flying solo again. Unfortunately, my cohort in metal breakdown crime, I don't know, something like that, he has the Rona, so he is recouping today, but he's with us in spirit, as always. But what I do have is someone very near and dear to my heart, very biased because he's literal blood to me. I have my Uncle Sonny Lombardozzi of A Rise from Worms with me on HOWL AT the Moon. And this is the first one of 2022. So we're starting it off with a...
killer!
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Man, I feel special now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And the EP comes out next week. Shit. Yeah.
It's like we planned it.
Oh, yeah. A year in advance, 2 years in advance.
That's definitely a Lombardozzi trait. It is. We always have a tendency to like get really excited about something, be like, yeah, we're gonna do it, and then it's just like as time rolls on, it just kind of happens when it happens, which for better or for worse. I think in this case it worked out pretty nicely. But yeah, what's going on? Happy New Year!
Yeah, Happy New Year, buddy. You know, just recording my ass off, waiting for the EP to drop. Single's out for about 2 weeks now, I think. It's going good. And, you know, we dropped that EP and then woke up in the morning, had like 200 messages of, bro, what's this shit? Because a lot of people still didn't know, you know what I mean, what was going on. And
right.
But everybody seems to really dig it, you know. People are saying, it's fresh sounding, and I mean, so many people hear different things, which is weird. You know what I mean? I mean, like one guy said, "Dude, it's like old school, but you're bringing the tech death metal into it." You know what I mean? Yeah, I like how you combined it. You know what I mean? And I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Okay, cool." And then, you know, another guy was just like, "Oh, dude, it sounds like math metal," and I was just like, "What?" I was like, what the hell is math metal? I've never even heard of that one, you know? So I had to look it up, and I was just like, oh, okay. You know, I didn't know there was like a whole little something of math metal now. But I get lost, you know what I mean? Deathcore and horncore and death metal and black and death metal. And yeah, it's just crazy, you know, and tech death metal, prog. I didn't know there's a difference between tech death metal and prog death metal. You know what I mean? And this kid's telling me the difference. I was like, it's both technical as fuck. You know what I mean? I was like,
right.
So that's where I just like, you know, people try to say, well, what's, you know, what are you about? It's just metal. It's just a metal song. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, it might be busy, you know what I mean? I'll call it, you know, but, you know, and all those other bands are great bands. I don't really call them like tech death bands. I just go, yeah, they're just doing their thing. You know, it's just, that's what that band sounds like, you know? So,
right.
I just try to keep everything metal instead of like, oh, we're this and this and this and this, because you start spreading too thin. You know what I mean? It's just like you're spreading your army out so goddamn thing, then nobody's liking goddamn anything. You know? You got 3 people at this show, 20 people at that show, 1,000 at this show, and then nobody at this show. You know?
Yeah, we always talk about how genres are. Like, they are important, but it's just so hard because once you're pigeonholed into that type of genre, then as soon as you do something else, people are like, well, what is this? What's going on?
Yeah, it's like doing a guitar solo or something in death metal, you know what I mean? And you do a lot of pinch harmonics in the guitar solo. What are you? Pinch harmonic death metal now? You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, or, you know, you use the... what scale? I've been working with this altered 7 scale. You know what I mean? Well, I could tomorrow post on my thing that we're altered 7 metal now. You know,
right.
People are like, what the hell is that? But you know, it's just it gets crazy to me. You know, so. But anyways, I just call it metal anymore. I can't. You know, if old school, new school, I don't know. You know. So many people hear different things, though, when they heard that single. You know, it was just like a lot of people were shocked how Steve was singing because everybody thought it was going to sound exactly like Marvin Angel.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he changed his vocal approach up a little bit and did a lot of like overdub harmonies and all kinds of cool stuff he did in the studio. And he can do that now because he has his own studio, so he can take the time and do what the hell he wants instead of being at another studio, being under pressure, probably being under pressure from what Trey wants from Morbid, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. And then here's me, you know, what do you want? Just do what you feel. Do what you want.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Came back. You like everything? Yep. Kept it all. You know what I mean? And same thing with Flo. You know, the only thing I would say to Flo is like, I'll follow that scale on your drum roll. You know, if I go, you need to do that on the drums. You know what I mean?
Right.
But just so you kind of know where I'm coming from. But same thing. I mean, we didn't change anything on his drumming either. No, I didn't change anything on anybody, what anybody did. Even my friend Steve, Mark Smith out in Portland, he did some guest solo or vocals, and then Dallas did a guest solo and vocals. But I didn't change any of their stuff either. I said, if you recorded it and you felt that it was good enough to send to me and have me listen to it, then it's good. You know, and it's like I said, just because that one little note I might not like doesn't mean how many other people are going to go, that's friggin' badass, dude. You know what I mean? So,
right.
You know, sometimes people get a little too picky in the studio, like, I don't know. And a lot of that happened with Incan. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. And this is like, man, I worked my ass off on this for a month.
Yeah.
And you got somebody just shrugging their fucking shoulders at you, man. It's just kind of like, this is a sinking boat here.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you have like too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, is you start to get nitpicky, and sometimes, you know, for the best, sometimes it's not, because it might not be in the style that you're looking for. And that's why, like, when you see people go into production with like if you're going to see like Ross Robinson or something, and you're like, what? Like, this isn't what you've been doing Will Putney stuff for like 10 years. Now you're going like totally left field. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's bad. It just really depends on the project. So to have that much control over it has got to be very, very freeing for yourself as a musician.
Oh man, I could, you know, it's like I could sit there and, like I said, work on a C major 7th, sharp 5, added 9th fucking riff, you know?
Yeah.
And lay it down and just put it to the click, send it off to Flo, and I get the drums back and everything's done and everything's so professional sounding. And it's like, no one hanging over your shoulder, man, saying, oh, I don't know. And, you know, try this and try that. And it's kind of like, wait, I already tried all that. We're just wasting time. You know what I mean? And it's just like, oh man, it's just as an artist or a musician, man, it's just, you got to have some type of creativity. You know what I mean?
Oh, for
Definitely
sure.
got to have some. Yeah. I mean, you just can't be here, do this, here, do that, who do this. Because I mean, after a while, I mean, dude, I'd go on stage with Incan, and it was like, man, this is like I'm in a top 40 band, you know, playing covers. It was like covers. It was like, okay, if I'm going to be bottom of the barrel scrounging poor to do this for a living, this type of music, I'll at least have some fucking riffs. You know, something that I could go, yeah, all right, here comes this part I worked so hard on for. Oh, cool, people dug it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't have that. So after a while, it's just kind of like, what the hell, you know? And it was just so many kids, because the next younger generation I could see starting to come to the shows, you know what I mean? It was like the next generation getting in. And every one of them would send me messages all the time. They're like, dude, there's all this crazy shred shit live that's not on any of the albums.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just like when this last album came out, it was like, all right, let's add some of this shit. And automatically it was just like, oh, that's too much. It's too much. It's too much. And it's just like, how the fuck can there just be too much metal? That's what I used to get so mad about. You know what I mean? I'd be like, let's get more death metal, play more extreme. You know, don't play your guitar like a fucking ukulele over there just because you got the part. Oh, I didn't mess up, but I just kind of like, you know what I mean? Oh, I got it. Instead of going, you know what I mean? Giving it more like some fucking Conan the Barbarian ass to it. You know what I mean? Than friggin', instead of the tooth fairy flying over your head. You know what I mean? But
I would love to see that on stage. just
well,
someone dressed up as Conan and be like,
you know what I mean? It's just give it some fucking some raw to it, man. Instead of just like, they're both doing their jobs. That's, I think, the point I'm trying to get to. Tooth Fairy's doing his job, but he's doing it very feminine. You know what I mean? And Conan's doing it, but he's whooping ass. You know what I mean? And it was just like some musicians, they'll go, well, I got the part and there's no mess ups and there's no string noise and that like that. Okay, it's good enough. Let's move on. No, it's not good enough.
Right.
Do it again. You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of like a scene in an action movie when that guy's walking down the hallway and you hit him in the head with the sledgehammer. Is it like this? Or is it like boom and your head caves in and it's just like you jump through your fucking chair? You know what I mean? Like, man, that's freaking extreme.
Right.
And somebody just going tap and him going ow. But, well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like because again, obviously we are family, so I get to talk to you a lot about the behind the scenes stuff as far as your musical career goes, and seeing the progression. I mean, you've always been a phenomenal guitarist. I mean, people might not know that are listening to this that are maybe unfamiliar with yourself. You have done a lot of things musically. You were playing in Incantation for a long time. Now you have this project, your new project. Yeah. You have Arise from Worms, which is your new project now, but you've done solo stuff. There's been a number of bands. You play the double guitar, like Michelangelo stuff. Yeah. Orchestra stuff. So there's a lot that has been going into your musical career that people might not be familiar with, especially the hop wolves out there for this show might be maybe not as into death metal or whatever genre you're talking about, because we're usually focused on, I guess if we had to put genres, like a lot like deathcore and like the newer shit. Oh yeah, I'm into all those bands. Absolutely. And I guess like that's what I'm trying to segue, is that all these things have culminated to this particular project. So having a Rise from Worms, again, it's yourself and then Flo from Cryptopsy, their drummer, and then from Morbid Angel, who's also in there from Morbid Angel, it's
Tucker. Yeah, Steve Tucker.
Steve Tucker's in there. So like these are, everyone is a legend in the death metal community. But A Rise from Worms, as you mentioned before, like it's very different. It's very, if we're going to say like genre bending, genre pushing, it totally is, because you are combining that old school death metal, just machine gun riffs to the face with shred, with a lot of technical aspects that are in things like deathcore, like blackened deathcore and shit like that. So is this just like, is this kind of like what you've always wanted to do as a musician, like A Rise from Worms?
Well, it's kind of what I was hearing in my head, so it just came out. You know what I mean? Okay. It was just, I had all this stuff going on in there, and but I listened to, I was listening to Obscura. What's that one band called? Was it Beyond Creation? I think. Okay. Yeah, Beyond Creation, First Fragment, I think it's called. So I was listening to a lot of those newer guys. But I mean, they've been around for a little while, but to me, they're newer. You know what I mean? Right. So I was like, oh yeah, man, that's what I'm into. Fucking jamming shit like that. And that's like, with the other thing going on, is just kind of like a lot of Incan fans that stayed in contact with me. That a lot of them said they absolutely did not know I could play like that. Okay. You know what I mean? Because they just
like you're talking about A Rise from Worms.
Yeah. Okay. This is like they just see me in Incan. This is, well, you definitely brought tons of shit to the table for that band. It was cleaner, it was tighter. You added a little bit of shred to it. You know what I mean? But this stuff is like way in the other direction. You know, and even Morbid Angel fans and Cryptopsy fans of Steve and Flo, they're like, oh, dude, I thought it was going to be like this and stuff like that. And it's like completely not what I expected, I was like, well, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, no, it's new. I wanted the bass to really do some shred stuff too, that I heard when I was younger from Billy Sheehan and Steve Vai when I see them in concert at the Erie Civic Center, and they're doing the dual bass and guitar thing together. And I was like, being a little kid, I was just like, holy shit, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Because there was nothing like that then, you know what I mean? And I'm watching it, and, you know, especially being like 14, 15 years old, watching that, you know, and Billy Sheehan's shredding and Steve Vai, they're doing note for note. So that's where I got that idea from, because I hadn't seen it done since then, since the early David Lee Roth days. You know, I think one guy actually, he actually did say, he goes, yeah, I like that song, Mr. Big, Addicted to That Rush, the beginning where the bass is doing the thing and Paul Gilbert's doing it. And I was like, yeah, that was the only cool part for Mr. Big. He goes, yeah, I didn't listen to too much after that. I was like, I didn't either. You know, it was like, oh, cool, you hit us over the head with a sledgehammer and then you give us ballads, you know. It's like, you know, just wasn't for me. But yeah, so that's where that came from. And then it just, I think that's what gives it a unique sound, because the bass is doing that, you know. Right. And there is no rhythm guitar, because the lead and the bass lead is that's the rhythm section, right? You know what I mean? Type thing. It's kind of like a huge orchestra section. Everybody's going for it, you know. You know what I mean? So, but that's where that sound came from. You know, I don't know if you ever heard anything like that or anything in that genre. You know what I mean? I mean, I know there's some tech bands doing it, but I don't think they push it as clearly as I was trying to do. You know what I mean? Like when it comes right out of the verse, that bass and that lead really hits you, like, this is really noticeable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you really, at least off the top of my head, I think the two that just like come to mind would be like Protest the Hero, because they would always have their basses doing exactly what the guitar was doing, and then let him do whatever he wanted to, and it worked. And then like a Necrophagus type of deal, where they were because Muhammad wrote everything like yourself. So it's like, you know, if he could play this on guitar, it's just easier for him to do it on bass. And, So, but to your point, not very often, or at least not as clean as what you're doing on this new stuff.
And it pops. Yeah, it's got to pop out. You know what I mean? You know? And
it really does. I mean, you can hear the mixing. I know Chris Donaldson up at the Grid did all the mixing and the mastering and all that good stuff. And you worked with another one of our friends, longtime friend, Andrew DeSanctis. We talked about him on Brutal before. He helped out with some of the programming stuff. So I think the culmination, I mean, everything sounds just spot on. Like, it's clean. Musicianship is there. The production is there. And that really is also a testament to like the recording process itself, and having such professional musicians and professionals just in the industry working on this type of project. It really stands out.
You know, with Steve, he sent his vocals to where Chris could basically just push the fader up. You know what I mean? Like the cake was there, you know what I mean? And the icing was basically there. He just kind of, you know what I mean?
Right.
Put the goddamn whatever design on top of it. But same thing with the guitars though too. I told him no reverb, no delay. You know, don't be EQing it. What I'm sending you is exactly what I want to hear on the CD. Don't. You know, I'll know if you start adding EQs and stuff like that. Right, you know what I mean? And he did. Dude, we are done mixing in one day, 2-3 mixes, and the only thing I said was this: he had the bass really loud. I was like, just turn the bass down. So he did. And then the next mix, you know, I was like, I think the entire mix is too loud, you know. And he was like, oh, you know, a lot of the young kids, they like it slamming, everything's slamming at the peak.
Right.
I was like, no, I'm a little old school. I was like, turn it down just a little bit. He goes, oh. He goes, I never heard anybody say turn the mix down.
Yeah.
You know. So we turned it down a little bit. I listened to it and I was like, we're done. That was it.
Nice.
Yeah, that was it. We were done that quick, you know. And he even said, he was like, dude, I never done a mix that quick, you know. Oh, and I think I might have said turn the leads up a little bit more because I really wanted them to like jump out of the mix. I didn't want them down in the mix because that was one thing with Incan. There's these solos and you go to turn it up in your stereo and the whole mix just starts getting like noisy.
Right.
And you don't even hear the friggin' leads anymore. It's just like, why even bother to put something down if you can't even, it's just turning into mud as you're turning your mix up. And that's just not good, you know?
Yeah.
So but I just didn't want to have that again. To where it was just like, I think something sounds cool, yeah, type thing. But the same thing goes back to hitting that person over the head with the sledgehammer. The lead needs to pop out like, boom, you're hit. Not like, well, there's a solo going, because not everybody's a guitar shredder. They might just be like this,
Right.
Cool.
Just the nice.
They don't know what's happening. Yeah,
right.
They don't know what's happening. But then if something jumps out at them, they're more like this, like,
yeah,
type thing. I used to have this pedal, this volume pedal. I don't have it here with me, but it was called the Little Alligator.
I remember that one.
The Steve Vai pedal. And I could turn my own solos up and down when I was playing with Incan. So I used to call it the fuck you sound, man. Because, I always hated, you see the sound guy back there drinking a beer, talking to some ladies, and the guy's up there shredding his ass off all the time. I'm like, dude, turn the fucking solo up. This kid's killing it. And you can't even fucking hear him, and nobody can hear him. And he's up there, the kid will be up there burning, you know what I mean? And nobody can hear the goddamn thing. I'm like, turn that shit up. Yeah. So that never happens with somebody being on their game and turn that shit up. So that's when I got that volume pedal. So I'd be like this. And I remember this one dude, Nikos was his name. He was one of the best sound guys I've ever had. He's like, dude, when you step on that pedal, dude, he goes, it's almost like fucking full throttle of an F-14 jet fighter. He's like, you can see the whole audience. What was it? Brutal Assault or something like that over in Europe. He goes, you stepped on that cell, started shredding, dude. He's like, the whole audience just was like this. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I hit them with that volume to where everybody was done drinking their beer out of their bullhorn.
Right.
And paying attention, because it came extreme like that. You know what I mean? Instead of just, the next band came up and I wanted to see this band so bad, and they had a good guitar player, and he's up there playing his heart out. And I was like, it's just not coming across,
right.
Well, and that was just because of a mix, you know what I mean? Just completely because of a mix, but yeah, I love that pedal, man. People used to get, a couple guys, can you turn it down a little bit? Oh, I'll turn it down a little bit, Yeah, I love that pedal. I bought 2 of them just to have backups in case somebody did something on my pedal. I was like, well, I just got another one right here, right near the box.
Right. So do you still have that pedal?
Oh, I still have those pedals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I have. I got 3 of them actually. 2 of them's never even been out of the box. I had to call Marley pedals, and I probably got 6 backup wahs, and I used to go on tour. I would bring 3 of everything, just in case something went down. You know what I mean? Right. I'd have 3 noise gates. I'd have an extra tube screamer just in case, you know what I mean? Dude, I had a giant ammo box this big. It would just be filled with backup cables. You know what I mean? Patch cables, guitar cables, amp cables, speaker cable, everything. I was just prepared, and I would lay it all out on stage. So if something went down, it'd be right there. And the show would go on. Right. Instead of walking off stage like certain people, oh, my cable broke, you know what I mean? And then, right. I'm leaning on my amp like this, waiting for somebody to get him a friggin' cable. You just have to be prepared. It's like going to battle. What the fuck are you going to do? Oh, my gun jammed up. So hold on a second. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now you got to re-rack that motherfucker and get that machine gun rocking, So that's how I always thought of playing shows, was like going to war. You're going to war, man. And that guitar, that guitar's like a machine gun. And people come to the show because they want to let their frustrations out, especially this type of music. Right. They want to go there and say, man, fuck everything.
Especially the sound guy.
Yeah. With that, fuck you, sound guy. I always wanted to get that painted on the thing in like glow in the dark paint so he could see it from the soundboard. Yeah, that was so funny. Those poor sound guys. But they all love me though. I got along with all the sound guys, you know, every single one of them, man. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, dude, they used to love me because they're like, I could just bring your fader up, dude, and I don't have to do nothing to it.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's because I turn my mid range on 8 on my amp, and I turn my low end down so you can hear my bass player, because that's his job to do the low end, not me. You know what I mean? So if I'm pushing the low end on my amp, it's just going to cause mud on stage, and you ain't going to be able to hear him. And then there's the 4 guys on stage that can't hear. What do? They go over and turn fucking amp up, and then everybody starts doing this, and you're just increasing mud, and then it's just a wall of noise. I mean, dude, I remember this one show. I literally stopped playing, and nobody even knew I stopped playing. I turned around. I sort of got. I turned around, drank some water, wiped my face down with my towel, wiped my guitar all down, and then came back out and jumped back in, and nobody even knew I quit playing. That's how loud it was.
Wow.
And how much of a cluster mud fuck it was. It was crazy. I'll never forget that show. I can't remember where it was, but you know, I just remember the one guy in the bay. He's like, that was the funniest thing I ever heard. You just stop playing, turn around, grab your water. You're just like, what the heck? And you guys didn't even know I stopped playing because of how horrible it was. You know, it was just so loud. I mean, I was just like, oh my God, it's so loud. I mean, it was just crazy, you know, but,
right.
That was one of those show moments, man. You know, it was crazy. Definitely crazy. But anyways.
It's like, hopefully once you're able to get back and start playing some shows, that sound guys will be on point and you won't all sound like just a wall full of...
Yeah, well, especially this kind of music. Yeah, I can't, you know what I mean? Because like it's so much going on and you want it clear. But I mean, you know, with a really good bass player and then with everybody, I think it'd be clear as day because I'd be the only guitar player. So you want to have that frequency mesh, you know what I mean? And there's quite a few sound guys that I stayed in contact over the years that I would absolutely hire in a second to do sound, you know. I was like, they just knew what was going on. You know, they listened. Hey, this is what I'm hearing. Oh yeah, exactly. And that's what it would be. Not some guys that would be like, well, if you don't like the way I sound, screw you. You know what I mean? And there was some hotheads like that, you know, and type thing. But yeah, there's quite a few guys that, man, they were just killer engineers, man. It was just so crystal clear. And I could tell on stage it was so crystal clear too, you know. So people were like, dude, it sounds like a friggin' stereo playing, you know, it just sounds so good, you know. But you know, they can't polish a turd, you know that saying, you know what I mean? You got to have the foundation to pull the faders up. Because if the band's sloppy ass shit, all he's doing is just pushing the faders up. Right. And he's just enhancing shit. You know what I mean? So if everybody's tight and got a good guitar sound, good bass sound, and their drums are tuned, and then he turns that up, then he can enhance something that's good even more. You know what I mean? Instead of going, right. You know, you'll see guys back there, you know what I'm talking about, where they're EQing like crazy. They're trying to get a good sound. You can hear them sweeping the EQ, like, you know, trying to get it all cleaned up. And the reason why they're doing that is because they got a shit sound on stage. You know, that's exactly why they're doing that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it really goes to show that. I mean, of course, like the reason why I go or anyone else goes is like you said, like you go to kind of disconnect from the world and just kind of let it all hang out. But at the same time, it's a group effort. I mean, of course, you have to be on your A game. So is the rest of the band. But then you have all the other people that are like really enhancing it. And you're just like, man, why was it that this show, like I've seen the Rise from Words like 10 times, man, but they sound different every time. And it's like, well, you know, maybe it's a different band member, blah, blah, blah. And like, maybe, I don't know. I mean, there's so many other factors that go into it, whether it's the venue and like the acoustics that are there, whoever's running sound, you know, are you on point, or is the rest of the band on point? There's so many things. Yeah. And some people don't know that language that you're talking right there. They just go to the show and they just go, that sounds like shit. It sounds, because they don't know what's wrong. Not everybody's going, you know, when a singer goes, oh, I got no monitors. Dude, some people don't even know what monitors are. Right. They're like, what's he all mad about? What's he talking about? Sounds great out here, but they don't know. You know what I mean? Or you see a guy kick his amp or something like that. Oh, what the hell's wrong with him? Sounds fucking killer.
But that's good. You know, those types of like, because not everyone has to be like that technical or be familiar with the terms. Like you're going there. The same reason why people watch movies and play video games is escapism. So like the fact that, you know, it's either like you sound good or you don't, like it's not that black and white from our perspective, but from just the casual listener, the viewer. Yeah, if it sounds good, if it looks good, if you know they played all the songs you want to hear, that's A-okay. And that could be like the worst show you've ever played, but to someone else, they'll be like, no, that was the best show I've ever seen. You just don't know how it's gonna really affect people.
Yeah, definitely. I remember this one show was at the Brick by Brick in California. Dude, first song, right into it, not even 15 seconds, my guitar strap breaks, and I just caught the guitar down by my knees, and it made the loudest sound, like, Gongli! Very first song. And I was like, and dude, I didn't even get mad or anything. I was like, son of a bitch. You know what I mean? I ran over, grabbed another strap, put it on, and went. I just remember everybody in the audience, that's what, you know, like their mouths dropped to the floor. But then it was like, dude, it was just so cool. You're just like looking around like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Most people like threw their shit and got all pissed off, you know. And I was like, man, I can't believe that strap broke at the very first song, you know, because I pushed on my guitar so hard that I end up snapping the straps all the time. Okay. You know what I mean? Because I play so high up, and then when it gets so tense, I start pushing on it. So I'm like, literally, it was this plastic piece, and the plastic just broke in like two pieces. You know? Yeah. But like I had, you know, 2-3 other straps for backup, you know. But I'll never forget that show. But all kinds of stuff happened, man. I remember I started hearing my amp going. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Here, this guy had a whole pitcher of beer. And he's right up front row, you know, he's going, woo! The next thing I look down and my pedals are just swimming in beer, dude. He spilled the whole pitcher of beer on there. And I looked down and I was like, oh, shit. So I grabbed my towel, and it was my only towel that I had to go down there and mop my pedals up. As we're playing, I get them all cleaned up. They start working again. I'm like, okay, show goes on. I throw the fucking towel back, right? And it landed on the amp. So we're playing, you know, 5 songs in, and I forgot that I used that towel to clean up that beer. So I reached back and I was like, and I wiped my face with it. And I was like, dude, I was just like, it was almost like this one comedy where the guy shot the basketball and he slid down that dude's sweaty ass chest. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? That movie? It was just like, so gross. And then all the stage dirt and everything, dude. Oh, dude, I was like behind the amp, like, yeah. I think that was in France or something. We played in this. It was like a fucking basement, man, like a World War II bunker. You know what I mean? It was like you just took stairs all the way down, dude. It was like we were going down to this torture chamber dungeon, man. You know? Hell yeah. And we played down there, but I'll never forget that, man. And he's trying to apologize, and I'm just like, I was like, dude, it happens. You're that close to my pedals. My pedals are right up front. Right. You're having a good time drinking beer. The pit started. You got hit. Your beer. It's not like you went like this. Hey, asshole. You know what I mean? Right. You know. Or maybe he did, and he was just trying to play it off. Yeah, probably. You know, but yeah, that was funny, man. Oh my god, unbelievable. But gotta love the tour life. Oh man, I can tell you some horror stories, dude. People probably wouldn't even want to go on tour. I mean, I think that's something that is always worth bringing up, for as glamorous as it is to be seen on the stage. And to preface, you know, I've not been on tour, but traveling for work and doing film and stuff, like I kind of get like a small glimpse of what it's like, and it's tough. I mean, even just being in a vehicle for an extended period of time is exhausting, like whether you're driving or not. And the fact that you're going from, we'll just use the States here, you know, you've got a show in Pennsylvania, you know, you're playing your hometown, you're playing Erie, and then the next day is in like Columbus. It's still like that's like a 4-hour drive.
Plus,
Oh,
you
yeah,
played the
where's
night
Al?
before, and then you got to unload, then you got to perform, then you got to reload, and then you got to go. And I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it
especially if you don't eat right, man. You're toast. If you definitely
right,
don't eat right out on the road, man, you're gonna crash really quick, you know. And I think that's where I see so many musicians get involved, you know, because when I was a little kid, I'd watch all my heroes dying from like drug overdoses or alcohol abuse or something. Like, what the hell's wrong with these people? They're on top playing their music. And then when I started touring, I could now I know why. I
right,
could see it happening. You know, these guys are doing, you know, a couple of lines just to get rocking just get moving the next day.
for
You know, I mean,
sure.
they're waking up like that. And I'm like, holy shit, man, hell with that shit, you know, because I was too busy worried about my guitar playing. I wanted to play good. I wanted to talk to people, not be so hungover and whacked out about it. And some, you know, guy is sitting there with an album that I played on, wanting me to sign it. And I'm going, cool, man. Yeah. All right.
Right.
Thanks, bro. I didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what's your name? This is your hometown? Where are you from? You play guitar? Oh, what do you got for a guitar? I was always like that, you know?
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, you got a demo? Where can I hear some of your songs? I was always like that with people, you know? And I think this is why maybe I got a huge fan base from that or something, you know? Because you're just, you know, they'll send me messages. Hey, remember talking to me? And I go, yeah, absolutely remember talking to you. You know what I mean? But some people are just like, cool, thanks, man. And they sign it and that's it. You know what I mean? And when I was a little kid, I'd go see Steve Vai play or something like that, you know? And he talked and hey, how you doing? Where are you from? And
Right.
you know what I mean? I was like, wow, this dude really cares about fucking people, man. Not just like, okay, cool. Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just passing you on like you're just, you know what I mean? I hate that, man. You know, I hate that so friggin' bad. It can be rough, you know. And I always went to bed early on the tour bus. I'd wake up and there'd be people passed out in the bathroom 7 a.m. or still wide awake. And, you know, sitting there on the couch with a friggin' beer sitting like this, and that's poured on them.
Hell
And
yeah.
the bus driver going, I just cleaned this goddamn floor, man. And now it's like fucking fly paper, you know, just all sticking to it. Oh, it's fucking nasty, man, you know. Just totally nasty, especially if you can't find your shoes in the morning. You got to go to the bathroom and you're walking around that floor. Oh, man. It's like, ugh. Look, I brought those fucking baby wipes. I'd be baby wiping, man. And it'd be fucking your feet would just be black. Oh, it's gross as fuck, man. Yeah, that's the fun stuff with tour.
So all the aspiring musicians out there, that's what you have to look forward to. Is it
Yeah,
worth it? For sure, but
yeah. Well, when they say behind the scenes is the funnest part, yeah, that's definitely true. That's the fun part, you know. Yeah, show's cool, but behind the scenes is sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not. You know what I mean?
right.
I mean, you start getting wore out, man, and all you're thinking is resting. You know what I mean? It that starts sucking, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough, but it can be fun at the same time, you know. And a lot of the younger guys that are still doing vans and stuff like that, I tell everybody, man, it's worth every penny to hire somebody who just drives. You know, spend the money. You know, I mean, you might not have it in the budget, but make something happen to where you have a guy that just literally fucking drives. You get to the venue, he gets a hotel, he gets his rest, and then you guys can load up, get back in a van, bandwagon, tour bus, whatever the case may be,
Right.
and go, man. Because, dude, I tell you what, I could still remember this day passing out a couple times out at the wheel, driving the fucking RV, and I was like, I started thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, there's all those guys in the back.
Right.
If I flipped this thing, that would have been on my fucking conscience for the rest of my life that I killed all these people because I passed out the fucking wheel. You know what I mean? And it's just,
yeah.
I mean, I was like this, oh my God. You know what I mean? Hurry up. We got to find a truck stop. I'm going down for the count. And it would just click like a light switch. Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. You know, you got your coffee. And then all of a sudden you just go, that's all it takes, man. You know, especially staring at the highway and you just see that white line. Shoot.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Couple scary moments, man. I had, man. I'll never forget to where the whole RV shifted, man. I was like, oh, we're flipping, you know.
Wakes you up, that's for sure. Well, on that note, we're still in the midst of a pandemic that is unfortunately not going away anytime soon. But to end it on a high note, we have the new Arise from Worms EP finally coming out very soon.
From 14th.
January 14th. So by the time that this comes out, it will either be coming out or it'll just be out. How can people stream it? Where can they find it? How can they keep up with what you guys are doing?
Yeah, it'll be on everything. Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Nuclear Blast with the Blood Blast, their distro. They put it out. Metal Bastard Records, they'll be putting it out. But all the mainstream stuff, that you normally can just go to, it'll be on all that stuff. Because I'm still new to it. I'm like Apple Music, Spotify, plus like, they're all these, they're all sending me the links and everything. I'm like, no, people will know what to do who do digital stuff. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm just kind of, okay, because I'm more like, well, I get the CD or the album in the mail, you know what I mean? And they're like, okay, that's 25% of your audience. Now the rest of the 75% is, we'll do that like that. You know what I mean? But all the normal websites that they do, it'll be super easy to find, so, or they can go right to the Rise from Worms Facebook. I post all the links every other day on there for people to find it, because people are like, oh, where's it at? So I'll repost it on there. Oh, thanks. You know what I mean? So I do that too. So they can go there, or the Instagram, Rise from Worms Instagram. I just started posting stuff on there. So, and then I know Twitter's been out for a while, but I'm still new to it. So I finally knew how to tweet because I never used it before, but a couple other, I think they started talking about, what was it, Twitch and TikTok, and they're finally getting me introduced to that too, because I'm new to that. So I'm slowly moving into the graduating from walking fossil to, to up to date technology, which I have to be, you know what I mean? Because
for sure,
if I just relied on album sales, well, there still is that percentage there. Kids come and it's unbelievable how much vinyl we sold, when they're out there. And I know a lot of CD pre-sales of literally there's a lot, I know that happened really, really good because there's still a lot of old school guys out there that ordered CDs and stuff. And I'm like, every day there's 4 or 5 people, dude, I just pre-ordered. I'm like, oh, that's damn, and I'm not used to that. It's like, okay, I wrote these songs and it's finally me and it's finally my music. And I got these great musicians and I'm just so happy, Flo's drumming, Steve's vocals, what Dallas did, what Mark did. And I can listen to it and like, man, this is friggin' cool, man, and finally, and then when people even over in Indonesia and Japan, like, oh, dude, I pre-ordered, and I was like, well, send me a picture of it, with the Japan writing, so he said it and all had the Japan writing on there. And I was going to order one just to have it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just to have the packaging of it all in Japanese, and I was just like, oh my God, that is so cool. And I never would thought somebody would be listening to what I recorded here in Erie, Pennsylvania on 20th Street. And somebody's listening to what I did over in Tokyo. You know what I mean? It kind of makes you go, wow, cool, man. You know what I mean? Or even all the friends that I made down in South America, those guys are all stoked down there about it, so. Hell yeah. But it's just, that part of it's cool and makes you feel good, makes you drag your ass back into the studio instead of going, man, screw this shit. Can't take it anymore, I'd be sometimes, dude, I'd be in the studio. I'd be screaming, just trying to be so exhausted and so tired. And you're trying to just get this part done. And it's just not happening. And you're forcing it to happen.
Right.
And 5 hours later, you finally get a good take. And then you finally get some rest. And then the next day you fly through 8 different riffs, like nothing. You know what I mean? And it's just like, sometimes you just don't know when to walk away when you should walk away. You know what I mean? Sure. And then, but I get in panic mode, because like, oh man, I got to get this done because Flo's going in the studio at the end of February.
Right.
You know, Steve goes, all right, I got downtime right now. I need to do my vocals, man, before Morbid Angel starts recording. So I got those on my shoulders, like, all right, Crips Topsy's getting ready to record new material. Morbid Angel's working on new material. So everybody, you know, with management and stuff, they're like, dude, hurry up, get songs done now, get them done, get it recorded. Let's get it all done. So when these dudes go out on tour and they're busy with their other bands, you're not sitting there going, okay, can we get some drum tracks a year later from now? Yeah, right. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to be prepared. Like after this EP, there's a whole nother full length coming out, you know, which all the guitars are done for already, you know, and Flo goes in and records, you know what I mean? So I'll have all this stuff done and ready to go, you know, for a full length album, you know, to put out, stuff like that, you know? And then after hearing the first EP, you know, writing these next set of songs, I'm like, I'm really going off now, man, you know? I love it. The last song I just wrote that I sent to Flo, it took me 2 months to write this one song.
Okay.
And I wrote it all on paper. And I haven't done that since I went to music school, since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And I wrote it all out on paper, and I had paid to like this, you know, you know. And then when I started recording it, I was like, holy shit, some of the stuff that I wrote on paper is beyond what the fuck I can play. You know what I mean? So I had to sit there and work on these parts for like weeks before I could even attempt to hit record. You know what I mean? So I was like, wow, man. But dude, it opened up such a whole new door. That last song that I just did, I haven't even heard any drums or anything for that yet. But just the guitar tracks with the click track, I just sit back and go, I always wanted to do something like that. And I finally did it, you know what I mean? And it was just, you know, even if it's so crazy for the average person, I don't care, because I wrote it for me for a change, you know what I mean? Instead of going, too busy worrying about, well, the fans. You're going to have fans if they're into their music, you know what I mean? Instead of worrying about, are they going to like it? They're going to like it. I just found I just got to write it, you know? And if you got a following, you got a following. If you don't, then you don't, you know? But can't, you know, instead of going, I need to write like this because so-and-so is successful. I just can't do that, you know? And I know a lot of people do that, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
When we were younger and Metallica came out with Masters of Puppets and Ride the Lightning, dude, next thing you know, the whole city sounded like fucking Master, you know what I mean? Everybody, dude. And then Sepultura came out and everybody sounded like Sepultura. It was like, holy fuck. And then Slipknot came out. Even friends that I knew started dressing like that, and they would never dress like that, dude. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking ridiculous. No identity.
Right.
Yeah, no personal identity. You know, you're just going with the times. I mean, I used to go watch a band play. They'd be playing fucking Iron Maiden and covers and shit. Then the grunge thing happened, and their heads all shaved, and they're wearing fucking sweaters. You know, and then that died out, and then they went into the tech thing, and then they're all doing tech thing, and it's just like same thing. You didn't stick to anything. No self-identity, I think, is what I'm trying to say there. But I didn't do that. I still stuck to my shit. You know, I mean, I had all these friggin' idiots say, "Oh, you'll never go anywhere playing that death metal shit and playing guitar solos as fast as you can," and you know, all the time, dude, all the fucking time. Insult me and stuff like that. I just stuck with it, and then you know, it finally happened. So
I mean, I think that's a really like the best way to end this conversation is just the fact that you have stuck to it, and it's not like an overnight success. I mean, you've been doing music in a variety of different aspects for like 20 plus years, and now it's finally starting to culminate into something that you want to do. Like, this is for you. People are digging it. It sounds like a lot. And that's really, really impressive. So anyone, myself included, hearing this interview, it's like, you know, just if you want to do it, like, just keep at it. And it's going to take a while. It might not take a while. So some people it does not, but everyone kind of goes at their own pace, and you just don't know if it's going to catch on or not. And as long as you're enjoying it, which Uncle Sonny, it sounds like that you're having fun with this, even as exhausting.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, it can be tough, but at the same time rewarding at the same time, you know, because
Right.
like I told you earlier, man, so many people didn't even know that it was going to sound like this. And it's
Yeah.
funny with management, this single that came out, that's not the song I wanted to come out. I wanted a different
Okay.
song to come out. And they're like, no, trust me, dude, this song has to come out first. And I was like, yeah, but the other song, I feel that one. He goes, we want to ease people into what you're doing. You know what I mean? This is your radio friendly song.
Right.
And the other one's a little more extreme than this one. And I was just like, and people thought this one was extreme in the middle section. You know what I mean? They're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's that middle section's just really cool, dude. You know, and one guy was like, killer fucking roller coaster ride, dude. It was just like all over the place, everything. He was like, but man, it really took me to a cool journey. You know, and I was just like, wow, that's cool. You know what I mean? And he goes, and the song ended how I didn't think it was going to end, but it ended cool. And, you know, he goes, sometimes he was like, it was very unpredictable.
Hell yeah.
You didn't know what was going to happen next because it wasn't repeating too much. I think we repeated the chorus like twice or something, just to give it that little metal fist in the air type thing. You know what I
mean? that's the ode to the arena right there.
Yeah. You still got to have that. You know what I mean? Where the fist in the air, you know, like Spartacus, the arena.
Well, there you go. You're listening to Arise from Worms. Put that fist in the air. Channel your inner Spartacus and just go fucking crazy to it. It's exciting. I can't wait to hear the rest of the EP and the full length whenever that comes out. So thank you so much again. Always a pleasure, Uncle Sonny. And congratulations. This is
thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is a lot of hard work. I know we've talked a lot about.
I'll be super stoked when I can like hold the album like a baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to see that picture. I want to see
yeah. I'll post that right on Facebook. I don't care. I'll be like that. I'll even hold like a bottle up to it or something.
No, hold your bottle of JD up to it to really get the anointing of the new Arise from Worms.
Oh yeah, there you go. Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. So, all right, buddy.
Always a pleasure.